Hey everyone, and welcome to day 28 of my horror movie review marathon, and I will be talking to you guys about Paranormal Activity. I have been a fan of all the Paranormal Activity movies. I'm planning on seeing Paranormal Activity 5 when it comes out, and when I first saw the first Paranormal Activity, all I could say was, yeah, this was probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, probably since the Blair Witch Project, because this movie not only has that like camcorder style of filming, it had all those like off-screen scares that were similar to Blair Witch Project, as well as on-screen scares, and sort of added a new spin on things. This is basically the story about a couple that is living together named Katie and Mika, and apparently like bad stuff is happening, and it's like on a demonic level. Pretty much it's just like really, really bad. This movie starts off a little bit slow. It kind of gets to the point where you're like, okay, when are all the bad things going to happen? Like, the acting wasn't too shabby, really like bore me to tears or anything, because when the stuff actually got really scary, especially at night, that is only when a lot of bad stuff happened. Like between, I think like the ghostly presence, their peak hours were between like 1 and 4 in the morning, or 1 and 5 in the morning at some days. So like they actually name off all like the nights, like night 1 or 2, like nothing really happened. So you kind of get a feel of like, okay, this is how the scenes are going to be shot. She doesn't like this idea that her boyfriend just decided to film everything, because it's known ahead of time that they've been experiencing strange phenomena at the house that they're living at. So right off the bat, it starts off with that's what's going on. It's not like, oh, it just like sprung up, like why her movie. All like these instances are probably just completely random. Yeah, watch the other movies if you have, and you'll kind of see why all this stuff is happening. I feel like you see it once, how can you possibly be scared by it the second time? I've probably seen this movie at least 4 or 5 times, and I've watched it a lot on Netflix. Now it's not there anymore. And I still think it's pretty freaky. Sounds it's interesting how like I haven't seen a lot of movies do this, where like you can sort of hear, if you're really quiet watching this, you can sort of hear like this sort of rumbling noise, and all of a sudden it gets a little bit louder, then all of a sudden something may or may not happen. But if it does happen, I have jumped at least 3 times watching this, because some of the stuff was just completely unexpected. Some of the sound effects are pretty interesting, and just like how the story sort of like pans out. I mean, it gets pretty creepy. Characters, man, like, I mean, I felt bad for Katie and what was happening to her. She's always like freaking out all the time, but Mika was kind of an idiot, so I mean, who can blame them? Boys can be boys. I would say, out of all the Paranormal Activity movies, I wouldn't say this is necessarily my favorite. I think it used to be when it came out, and then all the other ones came out, and I slowly started to like some of the other movies. I can't really put them in order at the moment, but if I'd have to say, I'd put this probably at number 3. Basically like smack dab in the middle, at least until the 5th one comes out, and then we'll see where that one's gonna go. I still think my favorite would have to be Paranormal Activity 3. But yeah, I was definitely scared by it. Close to the end of it, more things started to progress, and scarier things, the doors were getting like slammed, and more of the presence of like this demon, and just like all this bad stuff happening. So I was definitely freaked out, at least by the end. And yes, this ending, I was really surprised. I don't really like talking about endings of movies that much, but it was really funny how this movie had like 3 different endings. I can't really say which one I found to be the favorite one. I think the theatrical one was definitely by far the best one. Yeah, I just really liked it, and it was so creepy, and it literally made me feel so uneasy. I jumped, I got scared. And yes, I have watched this movie during the daytime at least once because I was just so terrified to watch it at night. Overall, I would say that Paranormal Activity, you know, I mean, I would say it gets kind of old when it comes to these, like, scary movies. I mean, I feel like they're all just, like, the same, especially with the Paranormal Activity franchise. I feel like this movie, you kind of lose, like, your interest in, you know, it being completely scary. I mean, at least that's what happened to me. I mean, I definitely don't think it's the scariest movie I've ever seen, but it did a good job when I first saw it. I do get scared of it, you know. So, yeah, I would definitely, you know, I would see it again. Recommend it to you guys if you haven't seen it. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Paranormal Activity, and if you didn't really like this movie, which one, if any of the other Paranormal Activity movies are your favorites. Come back tomorrow for my next horror movie review, and as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.